somebody used YouTube Super Chat to ask me a question. I said we'd pick it back up on election night coverage, and here we are. And their question was whether 8 years of Biden is better or worse than 4 more years of Trump. And so the idea here, in a big picture sense, is neoliberals in the Democratic Party give basically the country more of a sedative and calm things down in a way that leads to even less action. And they'd rather apparently go through the pain of 4 more years of Trump so that we don't get lulled back into sleep. I don't buy it. Okay, I'm curious what you guys think. First off, Trump is not normal. So yeah, Mitt Romney's terrible, but Mitt Romney and Joe Biden have about 25% difference between them. Donald Trump and any other human being has about a 200% difference between them. And Mitt Romney might do neoliberal or neoconservative positions, but he's not going to end democracy. I think Trump has an excellent chance of doing that if he gets reelected. So 1, it's a different animal. 2, I believe in winning by winning, not winning by losing. Okay, so we'll talk more about that in a second. But Emma, let me start with you. What's your sense of that question?
Yeah, I heard in 2016 from a lot of progressives that if Trump won, it would be better for the progressive movement, and that the entire Democratic Party would galvanize behind a leader like Bernie Sanders and the left, and the 2020 presidential nominee would just kill Trump and he would be a progressive. Oh wait, it's Joe Biden. It's Joe Biden. That didn't happen, and Trump just basically ripped up the Constitution, just said he was going to crack down and threatened to send the military to go after peaceful protesters. And that was a point where, of course, I think Trump is uniquely dangerous. But that was a point where I thought, okay, this is getting to a level where he might try not to leave office. And the threat is genuinely real and right in front of us. So I don't think you can play that game. As I said, some leftists tried to make that case in 2016 and they were proven 100% wrong. And Biden, again, I know that he's not ideal and he stumbled into this nomination. It's unbelievable. Like in Avengers, where Doctor Strange looks into the future and tries to see that there are 14 million scenarios and there's only one where the Avengers win. This is the one where Joe Biden wins, where it's a pandemic, economic collapse, racial injustice, and he gets to hide in his house. Like, it's perfect for him. So it's bizarre. He's super right wing, the most right wing Democratic candidate that we've had, even more further right than Hillary Clinton. I understand that. But there's a reason that Bernie Sanders is kind of being more cordial to him. I do think Joe Biden at least isn't aggressively hateful towards the left in the way that Clinton portrayed herself in 2016. She was so angry at the left. I think that he could be swayed and 8 years would be better, because the politics of destruction and burning it down and then something rising from the ashes, there's no historical precedent for that. It's just, people hating Clinton, Biden, rightly so, on the left, and then wishing that that would happen so that the left could emerge. Historically, there's nothing to draw on for that. And so definitely Joe Biden. Trump another 4 years, I don't know what would happen. And so many more people would die, lose their health care. That's almost a sociopathic way to look at things.
Yeah. COVID-19. Right. I don't know how many people are going to die between now and Inauguration Day because of the actions of Donald Trump around COVID-19. So that's number one. Number two, I just don't see a path where I don't see Joe Biden lasting 8 years. Right. So the real question is, who is this VP? Joe Biden, even if he actually lives 8 years, I think he's going to have to actually step down. So we're really only talking about 4 years of Joe Biden. But that being said, this is is uniquely different. We were lulled to sleep by Barack Obama because he actually came out with progressive rhetoric, and he ran a progressive campaign all the way till the time it was for him to appoint his cabinet. Timothy Geithner was my first signal that, oh wow, we've been had. It's a totally different ball game because we have two distinct factions in this party, and we are so far apart that no matter who the neoliberal wing, the corporate wing picks, we are at odds with them in a way that we have never been before. So the question is who do we want to fight against? Would we rather fight against a fascist who is allowing people to die because of his ego, because he has weaponized ignorance, Donald Trump, or would we rather fight against what should be the right wing of this country, which is the Democratic Party? The Democratic Party should be the extent of right politics in this country. So if they get in power, we treat them accordingly.
Yeah, I agree with you guys just about 100%. Look, you're right, Ben. On coronavirus alone, how many tens of thousands of extra people are going to die because Donald Trump didn't get the testing in place? The contact tracing is non-existent. Has discouraged people from wearing masks. Europe has got their rates completely down, and we are now worse than we have ever been. And is it because of Donald Trump? Indisputably. I'm not having a conversation with right wingers about it. We know what the reality is. But to me, the most important part is I'm sure he would arrest his political opponents. And I don't think it's at all hyperbolic to say that he has a very good chance of ending democracy. I think he's a total fascist, and I'm not going to risk the country, and I'm not going to risk democracy and the Constitution and all that. But one last thing about Trump, we all know that if you're on the left, you know for a fact he's a racist. I mean, a deep-seated racist. Tweeting out white power videos. I mean, they did an ad the other day online that had a Nazi symbol on it. It's an upside down red triangle that they used to put on people who aided the Jews and who were leftists, right? So I guess, by the way, leftists, that might mean that he comes for you first, right? And certainly he's already called Antifa terrorists. You think he's not going to arrest anyone who they claim is anywhere near associated to Antifa? He's going to fill up those jails with political prisoners so quick. And so, but on top of that, with the bigotry and the racism, and by the way, they ran that ad 88 times. That's a well-known Nazi symbol. And so it doesn't get any. I'm not going to vote for Hitler. I'm not going to not vote for Hitler's opponent. I'm just not going to do it. Okay. And if you say that's hyperbolic, I don't give a damn. So I know what the reality is. And so now, having said that, I think Ben is also right that I don't think Biden's going to be around 8 years, but that might. Look, if he picks Kamala Harris, then there is, and he does not run for a second term. Everyone in the press and everyone in the Democratic establishment is going to say, you're not allowed to primary Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. She is the chosen one and she must get 8 years. So that's 12 years, right? But guys, there's one thing you're missing in that equation, which is we can fight back. And so can we defeat whoever Biden's VP is in a primary 4 years from now? Is it going to be easy? No, I'm not going to put you under any delusion that it's going to be easy. But is it possible? Of course. And again, to Ben and Emma's point, when you're talking to Trump, you have 0% chance of influencing him. It's like talking to an orange wall. The one good thing about Biden is that he's empathetic. The problem is he's empathetic to only the people that are in the room. And he's usually in the room with incredibly wealthy donors. So he usually does what they want. But if somehow we could sneak a couple progressives in the room, he might actually turn that empathy on in that regard, right? And whether he does or not, we get to have a real conversation about a primary 2024 without giving a damn what the press thinks. So it's not a cliche to say we live to fight another day. And that, I think that's the current situation we're in. And so that's our opinion. Doesn't mean we're right, but we are.
Definitely.
But guys, I wasn't 100% positive exactly where you were going to go and how much conviction you were going to have on this issue, and so I feel a little bit better that we all do agree, right? It's some. No,
I get fired up. I get fired up about like the leftists who are totally wrong about this, but they're still claiming that that's the correct ideology to go with this time around. No,
I'm going to be honest.
16, and you're wrong now.
Yeah, I don't engage with this, particularly on Twitter, because it's a no-win scenario. People are going to do what they want to do, but I know most people looking at this scenario understand the unique threat that Donald Trump is above and beyond the crappiness of the Democratic establishment.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, look, we have to be open to facts. We criticize the establishment because they will not acknowledge that Hillary Clinton lost because she was pro-establishment and more right-wing. It's the most obvious thing in the world, and they will not acknowledge it under penalty of law. On the other hand, we have to acknowledge what Emma said, which is that if you thought that Trump winning was going to lead to more progressive momentum, that definitely did not happen. And so we're supposed to be better than the establishment, better than the right wing, partly because we believe in facts and evidence and science. So let's stick with that. Obviously, everybody gets to make their own decisions, and we're not like the establishment. Hey, you must vote in our way, otherwise, we're gonna, you're a terrible person, and we're gonna ostracize you and cancel you, etc. But understand the stakes that are involved here, and I don't think we're wrong about the stakes.
When you sign up for a spend and save account at aspiration.com/TYT, we will plant 10 trees. Let's save the planet together.